We witnessed a little bit of volatility last week.
Yes, Reem, and that reflected as in a little bit of bearish sentiment upon the biggest indices there in the US market. And that also caused some inflows into trusted assets like gold. And I've been telling you guys, gold is slightly bullish. Actually, a lot of banks have predicted and anticipating gold to cross $6,000, 6,200 by some entities. And that was also because investors were uncertain about the AI situations and according to the economics reports that were recently published by the Feds. And these reports cause uncertainty about the upcoming interest rate decisions to investors. And that's why we are seeing this little bit of volatility in the markets. So let's see how that's looking on chart and see about the upcoming week too. All right, everyone, here we are diving into the technical analysis part. Speaking about the previous week, markets compelled to our analysis perfectly. They moved exactly as we had highlighted, even gold, because if you look at the video, I told you for multiple reasons why gold is bullish. And it could be also a very, very good time to buy gold. And in fact, gold moved up. So that's about the previous week. Speaking of the upcoming one, starting with NASDAQ, as we can see that NASDAQ had broken above this trend line and retraced to it. And what it's forming for us now is actually a bearish pattern, as we call it, a descending channel at support after an impulsive movement to the downside within an ascending channel forming on mid time frame. So there is a possibility that NASDAQ could fall further deeper into a deeper support level, basically here, before it moves to the upside, or it could actually move to the upside from where it is right now because of this basically impulsive movement from this trend line from support or order block, you can say, and inside this bearish pattern, giving us an indication that it optimally should go up. Now, one thing you guys should keep in mind, which is very, very crucial in my basically perspectives, is that if you want to go long on NASDAQ, don't go for a long-term long right now, right? So if you want to go long, I would optimally encourage you to aim for this as a target, 25,180. Approx, fill in this fair value gap, retrace into inner resistance. And basically, this is also a solid resistance, as you can see previously, etc., etc. And why so? It's because if we go into a bigger time frame, right, we can see on the weekly time frame, this is what the way technically things work out as in technical analysis, we can see that US 100 or NASDAQ had formed for us a bearish pattern here, right? And it was on the top of the trend line. And then what we got is at resistance, we got a wick of rejection, creating for us a shooting star, then an impulsive selling to the downside to what might have been an engulfing, but it retraced very strongly from this support on a daily time frame or 4 hours time frame. But if you can see, after a break, market retraced to this resistance, creating for us also a shooting star, which shows a good interest in selling pressure, right, on US 100. So when we look at that, this could possibly be the beginning for a movement to go to the downside, as in a retracement to the trend line, creating this perfect trend to the upside and this strong support. And here is the price range where we have strong demand on NASDAQ, and that's about the level of 22,500 as in a safe target if you're looking to short. And if you're looking to short, an optimal stop loss would be above its all-time highest, right? So that's the way I see NASDAQ. This is an easy, maybe 1 to 3 risk-reward ratio trade. So I'm going to be placing that on right now. So it could look something like this. You guys are looking to short it. Yeah, it's about 1. All right, let's keep it safe. 1 to 2 as in a short. Of course, this is not a financial advice. It's not a trade recommendation. It's just First of all, numbers are approximate here. It's not actually very detailed because, as you can see, there are drawings and all of that. But yeah, it's just for educational purposes. And you guys do what you seem appropriate to your risk tolerance and risk strategy and financial appetite. So that's about NASDAQ. Going into gold. All right, so as you guys can see, the ascending triangle I had drawn for you, market did a break and retest perfectly and moved up. Now, there are two scenarios that might happen here. We do have a fair value gap at this range, which basically are orders not filled as in on the selling side. So, and there is this resistance that market just broke above it. So what we might see as an optimal movement, an optimal technical movement, is a continuation to the upside and then market retrace into the support and from here attempting to break its all-time highest. Now guys, gold on a longer period of time is very bullish. A lot of large institutions around the globe are speaking that, all right, I forgot names, I'm not really the best with those, but that's what happens when you read a lot of news and you follow up with a lot of stuff. You don't necessarily focus on who said and what said, but just you take the reliable information from an entity that you consider reliable. Yeah. And yeah, expectations are for gold to cross $6,000 per ounce within this year, most likely. All right, geopolitical tensions are increasing. The tariffs uncertainty is still looming there, even though the Supreme Court had made their stance, but the president is not. One of the senators last week had basically vouched that Donald Trump should be deposed from his position at the government in the United States. Depose is a very nice word. Yeah, it's actually matching perfectly. All right, so that's about gold. That's on a mid-range trade on a couple of weeks, maybe two. That's what you want to see. Maybe one, who knows, because gold is pretty volatile nowadays and anything can happen. All right, so that's about gold. Let's go into another asset. In this case, it's going to be Euro USD. So Euro USD also basically, as we had anticipated, moved up impulsively, now traced. Now it is consolidating. So this is a pretty solid resistance on Euro USD. On a bigger time frame, Euro USD is bearish. And yes, I was anticipating market to basically break below this, seeing some strength in the dollar, but ultimately it just kept consolidating. And it gave us this bullish candle at the support. So from here, we can still see that whatever been bought was sold again, and technically the strength and momentum on both sides are similar, so we can expect a further continuation as in a movement. As an optimal trade decision on Euro USD, I wouldn't say there is an optimal trading decision on this time frame. Basically the weekly time frame. You could go on a lower time frame, take daily trades, which would be way more reliable, I'd say, because when markets are consolidating on a mid-range time frame, giving you day trades as in more safe or more predictable to directions, because volatility shall be less. Bitcoin, as I had highlighted, guys, was consolidating inside that ascending symmetrical triangle, rather say, because that is the accurate description of the situation back then. So I also highlighted that there is a very good possibility where it liquidates and goes up, because the actual consolidation is happening between this resistance and this support. So this is exactly what happened. Liquidation and movement to the upside, and now market moved, filled this fair value gap and went back to a strong demand area. I'm not going to say strong, not on this time frame. Well, maybe on a very short or small time frame it is. So from here, we could see a possible continuation to the downside, as in this descending channel, or we could see a movement to the upside, because unfortunately, this tiny move of bearish sentiment had destroyed what could have been a bull flag, giving us a very, very, very good bullish indication. But that didn't happen. So right now it is at the middle of a descending channel. What do you do when market is at the middle of premium and cheap? What do you do? Yeah, I'm giving you this time purposely for those who are watching. The answer is optimally you don't do anything. You either want to sell premium or buy cheap. This is what I teach students basically here at Xylostar. You want to grab opportunities. So whatever happens, I would still, not gonna say recommend because it's not a financial recommendation. I still have a sentiment as in bullish over Bitcoin. So if it goes down, should look for a long position. And remember, the possibility of it liquidating till 54,000, as I have spoken like a month ago, it's still looming there, right? So when we say long on Bitcoin, it is on a longer period of time. Why? It is not really an asset that you want to rely on when World War III is looming in the horizon, all right? Maybe I'm not supposed to talk about war, who knows? Policies, YouTube, all of that stuff. All right, so that's about...
Very nice insights, Samer. And now let's dive into fundamentals part from London.
Thank you, Samer, for sharing your insightful information regarding technical analysis. Here is Amir Hamidian, Master of Finance and Investment in UK and also Financial Market Analyst at Xylostar. Last week, Gulf tensions was at the center of attention, and also AI bubbles and fears accelerated, although NVIDIA earnings beat the expectations. Let's have a look. Greetings everyone, welcome back to another weekly market update. Last week, financial markets faced a huge fear and volatility through the AI and the bubble of it among the investors. Although NVIDIA, one of the biggest firms in AI and technology, released better than expected earnings for the fourth quarter of 2025. NVIDIA reported a strong fourth quarter of 2025 results driven by continued explosive demand for its AI data center chips, with revenue and earnings beating the expectations. Data centers remain the key growth engine, fueled by cloud providers and enterprise AI infrastructure spending. From the management team, they gave a strong outlook for early 2026, signaling sustained momentum from the ongoing global AI investment cycle. From Australia, annual inflation remained steady at 3.8% in January of 2026, driven mainly by higher housing, food, and recreation costs, while trimmed mean inflation edged up to 3.4%. Monthly CPI rose by 0.4% with no changes to headline figures despite technical data updates and delay in CPI rate changes until 2027. For the United States, US PPI rose 0.5% in January 2026, which means on the annual basis it's around 2.9%, mainly driven by a 0.8% increase in services, while good prices fell by 0.3% on the January 2026. Core PPI, excluding food, energy, and trade, increased by 0.3% in January and 3.4% on annual basis, marking its ninth straight monthly increase. From the Canada, real GDP fell by 0.2% in the fourth quarter of 2025 due to inventory drawdown, though exports, consumer spending, and government investment provided partial support. Annual growth slowed to 1.7% in 2025, the weakest one since 2020, mainly because of declining exports, especially to the United States. From the geopolitical side, the US and Iran held another round of nuclear talks with no agreement yet. Meanwhile, the US increased pressure through new designations and continued sanctions, keeping the geopolitical tensions elevated. Worth to be mentioned, on Friday evening to the England time, Donald Trump announced the agreement with Iran is getting into difficulties. Let's have a look to the upcoming week. So at the beginning of the week, we are going to receive some crucial economic indicators such as ISM manufacturing PMI from the United States and also Reserve Bank of Australia governor speech. At the middle of the week, the GDP of Australia, ADP from the United States, and also ISM services from the PMI is going to be released on Wednesday, 4th of March. And eventually on Friday, 6th of March, we're going to receive the most crucial economic indicator of the week, which is NFP from the United States. And let's see what happened to the labor market and what will be the latest updates for the United States. From the corporate earnings, next week is going to be a little bit packed as we are going to receive some giant firms earnings for the 2025 fourth quarter such as Target, Broadcom, Marvel, and RIOT. Stay tuned with Xylostar. See you next week.
Thank you guys for watching.
Stay tuned for next week and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.